Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin, and it's time for one of my favorite videos, which is just some question and answers. I love it when you guys get some questions and I have some time to answer them and just talk to you guys about some of the things that are on your mind. And thanks so much for leaving comments, liking, suggesting videos, things like that. We appreciate it here at the Coin Geek channel, and we're happy to keep making some hopefully educational, entertaining, coin-related stuff for you. Benoit says, as a coin shop owner, how do you acquire these? Speaking about a video, specifically I had some ancient coins. Do you buy at auctions, or are they enough ancient collectors for you to have a regular supply in your area? So generally speaking, I have not been buying ancients at auction, although a couple of years ago I was actually pretty active in buying ancients at auction, just because I'd find stuff that I liked, that I thought was a really attractive piece. I was mostly buying raw coins at the time and then getting them certified. So I also had to figure that the coin had enough value built into it that I could still do those two things and come out. Of course, when you have a shop, you should make sure that you still maintain some type of profit margin. Otherwise, you will not have a shop for very long. And for me, I do have a couple of customers that have been selling off parts of their collection. So that's been really a wonderful thing on my end, because I've been able to provide lots of really cool coins for you. He had a couple of guys that I know have had a few different nice pieces to pass along, and so I'll be sad, I think, when I'm not getting them any longer from those sources. But also I do have some other dealers that I deal with that I get stuff from occasionally in the way of ancients. As far as coins in general, you know, we buy coins from all sorts of different areas. I am able to buy at auction, I'm able to buy at eBay, I'm able to buy from dealers, from customers, from walk-in business, because we have a full-time storefront, you know, so we get kind of the whole, you know, estates, I mean lawyers, lots of different areas, there's lots of different ways that we get coins available to sell back to the public. So thanks so much for the question. Let's see here. PRS1, can anyone recommend some resources for a collector who wants to branch out from US coinage to ancients? Books, websites, best way to get started. Okay, I'm going to jump the website thing and just say, of course, just YouTube right here. Okay, all right, but I don't do all-inclusive ancient videos. I do some ancient videos once in a while, but I recommend always for beginning ancient collectors. If you're going to get into US, there are two books that I recommend right away, and then there's a whole lot of other things that you can get into, right? So this Richard Plant book called Greek Coins and Their Identification Types. This book is a fantastic book because there's an expression in the English language that is, it's all Greek to me, which literally means I have no idea what it says. And so when you study Roman coins and then Greek coins, you quickly understand what people mean by that, because at least with the Roman coins, once you learn how to kind of make out what the lettering says, it's a little bit easier to get a hold of. This stuff, the Greek stuff, is harder for the average US collector. As someone who's transitioned over the years, it's harder for them to get into. So what's cool about this book is that it has some of my favorite things, which are line drawings. For those of you who know the information that I've given out on US grading books, the old ones with the line drawings are among my favorites. But the way this book is formatted is, if you see a coin and it has something very specific on it, there's a front section that talks about, you know, maybe you see something with an owl on it, and it shows you owls, and owls are listed from coins number 1486 to something, something, something. So you flip to 1486, and the next thing you know, you're finding coins that have owls on them, and then after that you can try to identify the coin that looks like it, and then you go from the number there up into, you know, the verbal description of the same coin. So this will be numbered matching up the pictures. Now this is actually very remarkably accurate. Like, even though not every ancient coin, every Greek coin ever listed is in here, because you've only got, you know, a couple thousand, what do you got here, 3,000 examples, less than 3,000 examples, 2,700 examples, still you get very close to finding the correct thing. Now, when I say the correct thing, there are lots of subcategories that you can get into when it comes to ancient coins. The other one is the David Van Meter book on Roman Imperial coins, the handbook of. One of my favorite books, absolutely. It goes over the different denominations, and then after that, it shows you chronologically, rulers chronologically. So, everything's going to go in order by time. And the other thing that it shows you is it kind of shows you for each coin the different descriptions for what the lettering is on and what it actually says. And with this book, and there's a lot of pictures in here, and there's a lot of coins that aren't pictured, but with this book, it's really pretty easy, time consuming maybe, but easy to identify things, I have found. Now, I don't want to just breeze by all the other stuff that can be out there. I will say that for the most part, there are lots of really modern handbooks that are pretty good, but I wouldn't be scared to, if you ever just find some random book on ancient coins, just pick it up. I mean, if you just look on eBay and find something that's like 20 bucks, I mean, the information is going to be all good, and I picked this book up because, my goodness, the artworks, Greek coins artwork is just amazing, and so, and the older information is also good information. You're going to find that pretty consistently. One last pointer on that, as you're getting into that stuff, is if you really want to have fun collecting ancients or anything else in the coin realm, start with history. If you're really attracted to a certain time of history, you're going to have more fun collecting those coins. This goes for world or U.S. or ancient or anything like that, right? All of those things, right? I'm kind of on an ancient roll here. That's funny because I didn't think that I was, but I got a couple more questions here. So are ancient coins like that dug, or have they remained in collections the whole time? Also, are there even ancients that have been in collections since mintage, like the ones that were in collections from the medieval and Renaissance times? I think the answer to that question is no. I don't know of any ancient coins that were always in a collection. Too much time has passed. But there are things that have probably always been maintained somewhere, because you do find coins that are really an attractive mint state, new condition, however you want to describe it. But I don't know that it's been like a known collection per se. It wasn't like the Archbishop of so-and-so that owned all these coins when they were first minted. That there's not, that lineage isn't available on any ancients that I'm aware of. And a lot of ancients are dug, like in jars. They'll be in these big jars that are buried underground. But for the most part, not all of them. So lots of coins were above ground, lots of coins were dug. But at the end of the day, I don't know of any that were in collections for millennia. Not that I'm aware of. All right, and we got time for one more little question. What is wholesale as you see it? All right, now that may seem like a really simple question at first. What is wholesale? The basic answer is, this is like when you go through any type of Bible class and the answer is always Jesus, right? Well, wholesale is what someone's willing to pay for something. Okay, fine, fair enough. But at the end of the day, when you're looking at price guides and this and that and the other, and the internet says this and this book says that, and someone's bidding on this and bidding on that. What's interesting is, from what I can tell, having been in the industry for a while, that most of the articles of evaluation that you used to see from something called the gray sheet, which is still out there, most of those things used to actually have bids behind them. So in other words, if a coin had a price in one of the sheets, oftentimes it's because there's a specific dealer or collector that was paying a specific amount. They actually do that for lots of items still, but not all of them, right? They actually try to find data from dealers and what they're willing to pay for things, right? So for me, wholesale still is not just what you can sell something for, but also what a dealer is willing to pay for something. Now, having said that, wholesale is not a set price. It is not a standardized price, because the reality is that you may be able to look and find a price list on something, but that doesn't mean you can get that for it. It doesn't mean that all the dealers are going to pay that. So for example, in the gray sheet recently, I saw prices go up on a couple of Morgan dollars, and they had been shooting up more so than some of the other ones, but I couldn't find any dealers that were buying it. Finally, I talked to a couple guys. They're like, oh, this company and this company, that's it. So you saw this huge spike increase because two guys were bidding on one date or two dates, right? And that to me is weird, because to me that's not wholesale per se, although it is, because it's two guys that are moving the market. What does that have to do with the tea and price of tea in China, right? What does that have to do with the rest of the coin market? So but it is wholesale, because at the end of the day, there's people who are putting out actual bid prices, and we're not just guessing at it. Like certain things, there's not actual bid prices put out by dealers. It is just a matter of, well, let's go ahead and look at auction results. Let's look at sales on different sites, and let's back things off 20% or whatever the number is that they determine, and let's call that wholesale. So some people also consider wholesale to be anything that's not retail. In other words, as long as I'm not dealing with public, I'm dealing wholesale, right? So you have the wholesale price guide, price guides, and wholesale bids that people put out, and that's like dealer-to-dealer bids. But then you also have dealers who are just dealing with each other, right? So technically anytime I'm buying and selling from another dealer, I'm doing wholesale business. But does that mean that if I pay a certain price, that there should be some matching price in a sheet somewhere? And at the end of the day, the guys that I love dealing with the most, not that we don't use gray sheet or anything like that, but like you kind of just go by your gut on a lot of stuff still. But yeah, I mean, when I say go by your gut, understand that I've got some experience and understand some of the markets, right? So I'm not just saying, hey, I like that coin, it's pretty, I'm going to pay a lot of money for it. Although I've done that, but and I've gotten in trouble doing that, by the way, so I don't recommend it. But at the end of the day, I like being able to deal with people on items that are kind of unusual, where there's not necessarily a wholesale gray sheet bid price, but there's more of just something that's unusual. Like if you get into world coins and you find something that is kind of unique, and there's a price guide, and you can find a couple auction records, but at the end of the day, it's like, well, I've never seen a coin quite like this before for this series. So the last couple sold for $300, but this coin's unique and gorgeous. He wants $500. I'm going to jump on it because I'm like, my gut says that this is a good coin for the price, right? So, and technically we did wholesale business because it was dealer to dealer. But so at the end of the day, the question of what is wholesale, that question gets a little bit murky. The watered down version is, it's what dealers are willing to pay for things, and in the broad sense, that is, if there's enough bids out there, there's actually some type of a track record and whatnot. But anyway, that's enough out of me, man. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much. Always leave your questions, comments below, and we try to get to them as we can, and appreciate everyone. If you care to, you can click on the owl button to subscribe, and you can watch more videos on the right side of the screen. All right, thanks.